Good, good. Ha 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 ha. Jia Hong laughed happily as he looked at the generations of disciples before him. 1,000 years had passed, and he'd finally awoken from within the fire breath rock. Ancestor, I wonder what your current cultivation is. After a short moment, Long Wei looked at Jia Hong and asked with slight anticipation. With my current cultivation, it's sufficient to lead the demonic Lotus Blade sect to possess a place of its own in the Darkhan dynasty. Jia Hong's eyes flashed as he spoke slowly. The Darkhan dynasty? Long Wei's face was once again suffused with a flush of excitement when he heard Jia Hong, whereas Lu Yuan, Xuerui, the other higher UPS of the demonic Lotus Blade sect, and the crowd of disciples in the surroundings were exceedingly excited as well. From the Azure Forest Imperial Kingdom directly to the Darkhan dynasty, and it directly crossed over the Darkstone Empire. The demonic Lotus Blade sect could be said to be soaring into the sky with a single leap. Of course, they knew clearly in their hearts that the reason the future of the demonic Lotus Blade sect was bright was because of the founding ancestor of the demonic Lotus Blade sect before them. When one man becomes powerful, those around him rise up alongside him. It was nothing more than that. Are those people above members of our demonic Lotus Blade sect as well? Suddenly, Jia Hong frowned and slightly raised his head to look up high into the sky. He'd noticed there was a group of people in the sky since the moment he'd emerged from the fire breath rock, but he didn't know the origins of these people at that time, so he paid no attention. After that, everyone in the demonic Lotus Blade sect from the sect leader Long Wei had bowed and addressed him respectfully, yet that group of people remained indifferent, and it caused him to realize that the group of people ought to not be members of the demonic Lotus Blade sect. Along with Jia Hong speaking out, the group of demonic Lotus Blade sect higher UPS and disciples including Long Wei, Xuerui, and Lu Yuan raised their heads to look up. With a single glance, they noticed the group of people that stood in the air. If it wasn't for Jia Hong calling attention to the group of people, they wouldn't have noticed the group. We been noticed. Mou frowned high above in the sky as he glanced at Jia Hong with slight fear, and then he looked at Duan Lingtian and couldn't help but asked. Senior brother, is this Jia Hong really the founding ancestor of the demonic Lotus Blade sect? Obviously, Mou had heard what the demonic Lotus Blade sect's leader Long Wei had said to Jia Hong earlier, and he knew the sequence of events from the three great sects combining to the annihilation of the Mountain Split sect and Seven Star Sword sect. This caused him to be both infuriated and anxious. If he possessed the sufficient strength, he would have made a move long ago to wipe out the people below. Yes. Duan Lingtian nodded. The fire breath rock has always been a miraculous thing. A person that slumbers within it is indeed capable of experiencing 1,000 years without perishing. So, Jia Hong is most probably the founding ancestor of the demonic Lotus Blade sect. Gulp. When he heard Duan Ling Tian's confirmation, Mou difficultly gulped a mouthful of saliva. Then his cultivation. It's all of you. Mou hadn't finished speaking when he was already interrupted by another. Swoosh. 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 The higher UPS of the demonic Lotus Blade sect, led by the sect leader Long Wei, soared into the sky and arrived at the altitude Duan Ling Tian and the others were at in the blink of an eye, before surrounding Duan Ling Tian's group within. Many demonic Lotus Blade sect disciples of the void-prying stage had soared into the sky successively and surrounded Duan Ling Tian's group as well. Qin Xiang, and the detestable rock. Long Wei's gaze descended onto Qin Xiang and the rock at the first possible moment, and a ferocious light flickered within his eyes. Since all of you have come today, then don't dream of leaving. Duan Ling Tian, I didn't expect that even you've come. We let you escape 5 years ago, but don't dream of escaping today. Lu Yuan looked at Duan Ling Tian with a frenzied smile on his face, and it seemed as if Duan Ling Tian was a piece of meat on the chopping block. Even if the rock wasn't present today, all of you wouldn't be capable of fleeing. Shuirui's face was covered with confidence, and it was confidence towards their demonic Lotus Blade sect's ancestor. Escape. Duan Ling Tian started laughing as he glanced indifferently at Lu Yuan, and then he glanced at Long Wei, Shuirui, and all the figures he knew in the surroundings. All these people had participated in the annihilation of the 7-star sword sect. All of you really think highly of yourselves. I need to escape from good-for-nothing trash like all of you. As he finished laughing, the brilliant and bright smile on Duan Ling Tian's face turned into a cold smile, and he brazenly ridiculed all the higher UPS of the demonic Lotus Blade sect. You dare be disrespectful to the 3 sect leaders and all the elders. I'll kill you. Right when the expression of Long Wei and the others sank, a demonic Lotus Blade sect elder flashed out to suddenly pounce towards Duan Ling Tian, and a spirit saber appeared out of thin air in his hand before a saber light bloomed into existence. Whoosh! When this demonic Lotus Blade sect elder attacked, an ancient horned dragon silhouette appeared above him before another few thousand ancient mammoth silhouette appeared. 7th level of the Void initiation stage. Half-step advanced saber force. Besides that, it was a low-grade spirit weapon that was like trash in the eyes of Duan Ling Tian. OM. The demonic Lotus Blade sect arrived before Duan Ling Tian in the blink of an eye before the sword light in his hand whistled out to envelope Duan Ling Tian, and he wanted to kill Duan Ling Tian with a single strike. In the eyes of all the demonic Lotus Blade sect disciples, the speed of this elder could be considered to be extremely swift, yet it was pitiably slow in Duan Ling Tian's eyes. Trash. When the demonic Lotus Blade sect elder was extremely close, Duan Ling Tian spoke a single word indifferently before suddenly raising his hand. He didn't even utilize a spirit weapon or concept as his palm formed into a blade and slashed out, and his origin energy skyrocketed on his palm as it moved to intercept the spirit saber in the demonic Lotus Blade sect elder's hand. Bang! Duan Ling Tian's palm that was formed into a blade easily blasted away the spirit saber in the hands of the demonic Lotus Blade sect elder, and then it didn't slow down in the slightest as it directly struck towards the elder's head and shattered it. In the next moment, Duan Ling Tian retracted his hand, and the phenomenon of heaven and earth was unable to condense into form in the sky above him since the beginning. Whoosh! A gust of cold wind blew by, and it caused the group of demonic Lotus Blade sect members to feel their hearts go cold. The skull of the demonic Lotus Blade sect elder that attacked Duan Ling Tian had shattered open, causing fresh blood to spray all over and plunge to the ground. Bang! His corpse emitted a loud bang as it descended onto the ground. Silence. The entire clamorous gorge instantly became deathly silent. After a short moment, the group of demonic Lotus Blade sect disciples in the gorge recovered from their shock, and their expressions went grim. Who dares come to our demonic Lotus Blade sect to kill our members? He even killed an elder of our demonic Lotus Blade sect. No matter who it is, he's dead for sure. Exactly. Not to mention our demonic Lotus Blade sect's ancestor has already appeared. Even during normal times, no one dares to be so presumptuous in our demonic Lotus Blade sect. That rock seems to be the 7-star sword sect's guarding demon beast. Many of our peers have died at its hands in the past. He won't be able to flee today. Perhaps the sect leader's speed is inferior to it, but if the ancestor wanted to kill it, it would be as simple as cutting a blade of grass. Of course. The Supreme Elder is an existence that's capable of leading us to obtain a place of our own in the Darkhan dynasty. The Supreme Elder is at least an expert at the void interpretation stage. Moreover, it's likely that the Supreme Elder isn't an ordinary first-level void interpretation stage expert. The void interpretation stage. According to my knowledge, even if it's the Darkstone Empire, only the imperial family possesses a void interpretation stage expert, and he's the #1 expert of the Darkstone Empire. Perhaps our ancestor is even stronger than the #1 expert of the Darkstone Empire. The crowd of demonic Lotus Blade sect disciples discussed animatedly. As they spoke, their confidence grew greatly, and they were filled with confidence towards their demonic Lotus Blade sect's Supreme Elder. At this moment high above in the sky, all the demonic Lotus Blade sect members that had surrounded Duan Ling Tian's group had successively recovered from their shock. Duan Ling Tian's natural talent is really monstrous. 5 years ago, when the 7-star sword sect was annihilated, he was only a nascent soul stage martial artist. 5 years later, he's actually capable of killing a 7th level void prying stage elder of our demonic Lotus Blade sect. Fortunately, he has come now. Otherwise, if another 10 or 20 years passes, then our demonic Lotus Blade sect might not be capable of enduring the flames of his rage. I don't think so. So long as our demonic Lotus Blade sect's Supreme Elder is present, even if we give Duan Ling Tian another 20 years, he might not be capable of doing anything to our demonic Lotus Blade sect. Then how about another 30, 40, or 50 years? After all, he's too young when compared to the Supreme Elder. You're right. But, since he has come today, he's dead for sure. The crowd of void-prying stage demonic Lotus Blade sect disciples that surrounded Duan Ling Tian's group couldn't refrain from whispering in discussion. The gazes they shot at Duan Ling Tian seemed as if they were looking at a dead man. Duan Ling Tian. Long Wei's gaze stared fixedly at Duan Ling Tian. Needless to say, your current strength has really surprised me. You're worthy of being the #1 genius in the history of the 7-star sword sect and the young expert that's capable of suppressing the 5 great young masters of the Azure Forest Imperial Kingdom. Sect Leader Long, you're too kind. The corners of Duan Ling Tian's mouth curled into a cold smile. If I was you, I would continue enduring. If you waited another few tens of years, you would perhaps be capable of taking revenge for the 7-star sword sect. But unfortunately, you chose to make an appearance now. Even if the rock is present today, it's impossible for all of you to escape. Slight ridicule appeared on Long Yun's face. All of you are really good at choosing the time. You didn't come earlier nor later, but just happened to choose the time that our demonic Lotus Blade sect's ancestor has returned to the world. With the ancestor present, this rock of your 7-star sword sect can only dream of gaining an advantage over us in terms of speed. Lu Yuan sneered. Is something wrong with your ears? Duan Ling Tian had a calm expression as he asked indifferently. Huh? Duan Ling Tian's words caused everyone from the demonic Lotus Blade sect to be stunned. Didn't you hear me call all of you good-for-nothing trash? Could it be that all of you thought that those were words spoken out of rage? Or perhaps all of you thought I'm only calling all of you good-for-nothing trash and didn't include that 1,000-year-old freak in. Duan Ling Tian ridiculed. As he looked at the expressions of the members of the demonic Lotus Blade sect that became darker, he felt delighted. Duan Ling Tian, do you really think that you're invincible under the heavens, just because you're capable of killing a 7th level void prying stage elder of our demonic Lotus Blade sect? If I, Lu Yuan, want to kill you, it's even simpler than stomping an ant to death. Lu Yuan's gloomy expression tensed up as his eyes flickered with a ferocious light, and the origin energy on his body leaped up into appearance. In the next moment, he took a stride forward before pouncing towards Duan Ling Tian. Lu Yuan's strength was on a completely different level than the 7th level void prying stage elder of the demonic Lotus Blade sect from before. Practically the instant Lu Yuan strode out, he'd already arrived before Duan Ling Tian. Bang! With a raise of his hand, his palm descended with earth-shattering force as it swept towards Duan Ling Tian.